Give me just 1 second to adjust my screen. Oh. Okay. Thank you. So Rochelle, can you hear me clearly? And can you see my screen? Just want to do a status check. You're on mute, Rochelle, just in case.
Oops. Yeah, I can see your screen and I can hear you very clear.
Awesome. So thank you all for your time today, and I would like to I'd like to provide you some information on how to monetize fast broadband. I mean, this year has been different to say the least, and there has been a substantial growth and use of high-speed broadband. But so the next step is, what are the things we can do to monetize the service and help, more importantly, help the subscribers with the kind of services that they want. So I will keep this brief, won't take too much of your time. I hope you find this interesting and useful. So of course, even after today, please reach out to us if you have any questions. But let's begin. So monetizing fast broadband. The agenda is very simple. I have a few slides that talk about how do you, in this kind of age where consumers, especially in the last 8 to 10 months, that they have really gotten used to online experience, how do you make a service successful? And then we'll talk about Wi-Fi, which still remains is the king, managed Wi-Fi services, Wi-Fi 6. Then we'll talk about cyber protection. And last but not the least, I'll have a couple of slides that mentions CAF Performance Testing. So let's get into it. So before this year especially has there is this new term called prosumer. That's a combination of professional and consumer. And this is basically where, I mean, this year has changed a lot of things for good. I mean, it is safe to say that we're not going back to pre-COVID. It's never going to be the same again. And some of the things concerning most with service providers and with our industry is the fact that, as you can see this from Gartner survey, 48% are going to be working from home, or at least half of the employees at some point in time. And then the other survey from Gallup says 59% prefer to continue to work from home even later on. I have the picture of kids working and going to school. And again, this is in some shape or form is going to continue even after COVID. If not, of course, they'll definitely go back to school, but they might have other means of tutoring that'll happen with the new services that people have learned about. So this kind of, the other couple things, 76% of broadband households have at least one paid streaming service. I mean, we've all seen the over-the-top streaming services had been very popular with several big companies jumping into the fray, but this has really picked up over the last several months. And the online video viewing has doubled in the last 3 years. Video over Wi-Fi is substantial. And again, residential Wi-Fi sales has grown 20% in this second quarter of this year. Wi-Fi 6 residential gateway equipment has accounted for 29% of all Wi-Fi sales. So just some of the trends that partially they explain the importance of Wi-Fi, great Wi-Fi service. The other thing is that there is encroachment on the traditional TV services that service providers have been offering, which means all the more reason why the need to develop new services and sell to our customers. Again, this is from recent uh, uh, study research report that talks about average downstream usage is about month per month is about 359 gigabytes, upstream 25, average downstream speed is about 169 megabits per second, and upstream 13. So that's in Q3 as late as Q3 of 2020. Okay, so this reinforces, I mean, the purpose of this talk about high speed on one end and the need for new services on the other. Okay, so with that, let me talk about the next. How do you make services? Uh, how do you satisfy customer expectations? How do you excel customer experience? Because this is really where what end users are looking for. That's what they get from Amazon and have the same kind of expectations from all their vendors. And so here's a quick: how do you measure customer perception or the service's perceived value? And how do you narrow the gap between the quality of service, the perception, and the reality, right? So this is a very simple formula. Perceived value is experience over expectation. So what does that mean? If you set the right expectations, okay, then the experience you deliver is going to be proportional, and that will overall increase the perceived value of your service. So you set the right expectation, so they have the right experience and improves. If you don't set the right expectations, then your customers will make up expectation based on other vendors or based on other things that they see. I mean, not that that is not already coloring their expectations, but beyond that, through communication, both internal and external within your teams, making sure your teams understand what kind of experience you are targeting, and then external, explain very clearly through all different methods, social media, videos, whatever the new methods that are available to us today, explaining to the customers what to expect out of this new service or out of this existing service, and then making sure that you exceed that expectation, and then of course constantly measuring. Now, a couple of quick tips on measuring. I mean, it doesn't have to be. The first thing is without measuring, it's very hard to kind of have any understanding of what's going on. So that's clear. But measuring has to happen. There's two things that are extremely important based on research. One is it's the immediacy. As soon as you deliver, if you're doing the installation, getting them to give you feedback immediately and not a week or a month later is extremely important. Not having one survey every 6 months or 12 months about stuff that they have experienced maybe once or twice, right? So immediacy is extremely important, and simplicity. And these smiley faces, these are extremely easy and very welcoming. Numbers, asking people to rate from 1 to 10 or something like that. Instead, using these smiley faces, again, uh, having, as soon as the person has done the installation, just handing them a placard or sending them an email and say, hey, what did you think about the service? Click on one of these faces. If you want to do 1 to 3, you have 3 faces on the left. 1 to 5, you've got 5 options. And here again, having 5 faces can mix things up. So you want to kind of, I have added that heart symbol so they know exactly like, okay, that is, that's how the scale goes. Right is the best and left is the worst, because that mistake is easy to make, especially if you have 5 different pictures to select from. The other thing is, how do you relate this equation, this ratio of perceived value, to these smiley faces? I mean, that again is simple. If it is either green, then you know the perceived value is positive, is greater than 1. That means the experience is way over expectations, or at least meets the expectations. So anything yellow kind of dicey. It's not sure. I mean, if it's expected, or it's if you've just hit at the expectation level or slightly below, it's kind of dicey. But green, definitely you are in the equation. The experience is better. And then orange or is means that the experience did not meet the expectation at all. So that's I mean, you don't that's how you interpret this equation, and that kind of gives you a very good way to measure. Okay, so again, this is an ongoing thing. Any uh, once and at Zyxel, and we'll talk about some of the services, and we help you throughout this process. We help you not just we have these products and services, but we will help you with the tools, marketing and sales tools, and all of this that are needed. And we'll take you through onboarding process and training so that you can meet all of these targets. Um, Standard operating procedure, extremely important for a successful service launch. And now, one of the things that's both common for Wi-Fi related services or any other services that we talk about is reducing the variables. So standardizing as many parameters in the services so you can offer consistent service, and it helps you troubleshoot any problems because there are fewer variables to manage. And then fast issue resolution, of course, reducing cost and improved customer satisfaction. So communication between customer support and installation crew is extremely paramount. And this is what we've, time and again, when we do these, our teams do the training, they find they get this feedback all the time, that sometimes it's just the customer support doesn't know what the installation crew has done, and vice versa. That is a cause for a lot of concern. Making sure all the different teams are up to speed: sales, customer support, installation, through education, incentives, and evaluation. Again, critical step. Finally, customer support, troubleshooting complex issues, having training extremely important, making sure the tech support is aware of all the, especially for the latest Wi-Fi technology, what are some of the common problems that they'll get called, standard procedures, quick resolution. And last but not the least, this is extremely critical. I mean, every support call can be a sales call. And I mean, of course, there are times when if the customer is pissed off, of course, you guys know this better than anybody else. But my experience has been, so I have a few URLs and GoDaddy.com is where I've purchased, and they manage it. Now, every time if I have a question or I call them, they will always do a soft sell. I mean, first of all, they'll help me. They're very prompt. They're very good at supporting and resolving any issues. And then they will do a very soft sell for one of their services. They won't be insistent. They're like, have you heard about this? Or do you have 2 minutes to talk about it? And if I say no, they won't push. But if yes, then they will definitely talk about that. And I have purchased it, several features from them during this interaction. So it is, support calls, we're all, they're dreaded, but there is a nice way of making it. If you're able to promptly address their issues, they're happy, maybe then it's a way of doing an upsell. So at this time, I'd like to engage you into for a quick poll. Now, these polls are anonymous. We're not interested in trying to figure out who's doing what, just to kind of share with all the attendees some of these, what we learned. So, are you currently offering a self-help app for Wi-Fi networks? So we'll give you some time. Um,
It seems that not yet, but launch planned soon is winning.
okay, that should do it. Okay, so we've got about 57% think that they're planning to launch something like this. And okay, good to know. And we will share these results. 57% think that, or they are in, they're planning to launch. There are about 29% who already have an app. And okay. So with that, I would like to move on to the next service here. The first one we'll talk about. So we have, and if you've been following through our webinars, we have a slew of Wi-Fi 6 products, and that includes gateways, extenders, and also, so this is the whole thing is easy mesh capable, and we've got the system comes with an MPro Mesh app. So if you purchase any of our gateways and of course the extenders, I mean you might, if you have a bigger house or if you have customers with bigger houses, you would need an extender. Then the app is part of our solution. So we've got two gateways, EX5510, 3510. The 5510 is for multi-gig systems because it has 2.5 gig WAN option. They're both Ethernet gateways, Wi-Fi gateways, and so for the 5510 has 4x4 configuration, antenna configuration for both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And then the the EX3510 has a 3x3 for 2.4 gigahertz, but 4x4 for 5 gigahertz. So extremely high performance solutions. We've got the extender. And again, this is something if you are if you're planning and if you haven't tried or evaluated our solution, I would invite you to do that. Now, I would like to kind of, in this talk, I would like to focus on the app. Basically, this has been, I mean, we have had an app for almost 4 years now. So MPro Mesh is our second iteration of an app. And some of the things that we've learned, customers want an app, right? And this is also good for service providers because it can it can help your customers resolve a lot of their problems much more easily. And some of the problems which you might not be able to help them with, for example, if they've forgotten their Wi-Fi password. Quite often, we forget. I mean, the only time when we need a Wi-Fi password is when we are trying to install a new Wi-Fi device, right? Or somebody is trying to get onto the Wi-Fi network. And service providers, for security reasons, they do not have access to that information. They can just reset it. First of all, this is they've got tons of these calls, and with a simple Wi-Fi app, you can resolve this easily because they can view it. The other problem is if you reset it, now as a subscriber, I have to go around changing, resetting all my devices, and with tens and with an average 20 devices in any household, that is a pain to say the least. So you can avoid and you can resolve a lot of these issues by having a simple app. The other thing I would like to emphasize is keep it simple. I mean, I cannot emphasize this. Quite often, in our experience, when we work with service providers or even internally at Zyxel, a lot of people working on apps or evaluating the apps are technical people, and the kind of the level of understanding that we have is very different from an average customer. They want one or two things. They want to do it right. They don't want 500 different features. I mean, that's what Apple has made their business model, and that's something that has made Apple one of the most valuable companies in the world. Is make sure you make things simple. Make sure you're targeting what 95% of the consumers want, and not over inundating people with features that only 5% of the people might need. So we need to really do that. And we have used all of that information in creating this app. It is extremely simple. We've not tried to do everything, just a few things really well. Device intelligence. This is extremely important. I mean, customers don't understand MAC addresses. That's not something that they want to deal with. The app being able to automatically recognize the different devices that they use in their homes, extremely important. Network device list, and easy, just being able to see all the devices that you have in your home. That can be, I mean, you'd be surprised for an average user how often they don't know how many devices are connected to their network, because they don't think of their printers on the Wi-Fi network. They don't think of the Roku boxes as being on the Wi-Fi network quite often. They only think of laptops or mobile phones as being on Wi-Fi networks. So just having a list showing them that no, you've got 20 devices and not two, so you need a fast broadband, or you need is a huge help. Cloud, and again, the app is cloud managed, so they can access this information from anywhere. Turning on guest Wi-Fi, again, very important. I've already talked about password, changing the name of your network, and password. Pause. We all talk about parental control, but this is the most important feature or most used feature. And let me explain that to you with a video.
Okay, go. Come help set the table. Something. No, my phone isn't working either.
Okay, so I hope a lot of you kind of relate to that experience, and we feel the same way. That's why we added this pause feature to our app. So again, here's a few screenshots. We gave you a dashboard. So right off the bat, you know the number of connected devices, 4. You've got your gateway over there on top. You can turn on guest Wi-Fi. You know it's off. You can turn it on right from the home screen. Next up, you can see all the devices listed in an easy way. And if you had guest devices, they would be listed underneath in a separate section. But everything is listed right there. Again, intelligent features, something very simple. So you see these icons, the green and red icon. Now, what are they? So if you click on that, you will see this is the connection status. So this icon means it's a wired device. A green icon means the Wi-Fi is good. Red icon means maybe it's too far. You're not getting a good enough signal. This question mark, no connection, and then blocked. Okay. So again, simple features to quickly give an average user the status of their network, not too complicated. And then finally, you've got the Wi-Fi settings. Like I said, you can easily view. You can easily view your Wi-Fi password, and then you can change your Wi-Fi name and password as well. Okay. A few more things. Once you dig into any individual device, you'll get some more information, max speed. Again, if you the Wi-Fi band. Now, this is sometimes it might be helpful if your customer support is trying to help them, and they can. But an average user might not need this. But here's the important feature: internet blocking. That's the pause. Now, this is an older version, so the newer version says pause. This is where you can pause internet on any device on the network. And then when you see it, it'll show up like this. So you know that that device has been paused. Okay. Last but not least, I mentioned that whenever we do these services, we always have your back in terms of training, providing you with tools that you can help that'll help you to make these services successful. And here's a quick Wi-Fi checklist that we provide with our training that would help you to make, whenever you have an installation out there, just mapping out this information. Trying to figure out what kind of house, the size, layout, size of the family, do a quick neighboring Wi-Fi diagnostic, high usage areas. And again, you can customize this, but this is our suggestion and possible places. So even if you have spent the money to do a truck roll, if you've sent somebody out there, spending 2 more minutes in getting this information, doing this quick checklist will help you immensely. And if you have, it'll help later on, if you get a question and your customer support person has access to this information, they can advise and troubleshoot problems much more effectively and quickly. Next up, I'd like to talk about the home cyber protection. This again, this was important to begin with. I mean, we launched this service last year and in November timeframe. And we've been working with our partner for over 2 years on developing this service and all the other components that go with this service. But the last few months have made this indispensable. So first of all, just a quick stat. So you've got 71% of consumers worry that they will be a victim of cybercrime. 84% want protection for all the devices in their homes, and 72%, a staggering 72%, would pay for security, and that's great news, right? Because we are offering you the solution, and you have a way to monetize it right there. So here's a quick, before we jump into some more details, let's do a quick survey again. Deployment of home cyber protection service or any kind of parental control. Are you deploying it right now, or you have it already deployed, planned for early 2021, or you're in the evaluation stage? Okay. So pretty much everybody on this team are in evaluation stage, which is kind of what we see in the market as well. We do have a few customers who have deployed this year, or actually, I should rephrase. We have seen a few service providers who have deployed, and we've kind of gotten some information from their experience. But that is what we see is generally the case here. So let's move on. Okay, so why do you need home protection, right? Home cyber protection. Now, first of all, ever since Amazon took off and Alexa has become so popular, that the rate at which people are bringing in smart home devices is alarming, right? Pretty much everybody has at least one or two, and most of the people have at least 5 to 10 smart home devices. Now, the problem with these is that they were never designed with security in mind. They are designed for one thing, it's for a very narrow feature set. And quite often, to keep the costs down, they don't even have enough memory or space to do any real security. So that's the bad news. The good news is all this information that comes and leaves your house goes through your gateway. The even better news is that since a lot of service providers offer this gateway to their customers, you have a way to monetize it. So not only can you put a strong solution on top of the gateway and protect everything inside the home, because you're offering that device, you have a way to monetize it as well. And we realized this about 2 years ago, and we have been working with a very credible partner, F-Secure. They're a world leader in security services, and we have developed EHome Shield that offers cybersecurity protection for the entire home, all the devices inside the home. So let's talk about that. So what are the feature highlights for this? So first of all, there are 3 components in this service. The first one is the intelligent software that goes inside select gateways, pretty much everything we are selling currently and the new gateways. And then this intelligent software interacts with cloud, F-Secure's security cloud. Now that is really where the power is. F-Secure has been around, they've been around for 30 years, and they have over 10 years of AI experience. So security is a moving target. I mean, it is constantly changing. So you need a solution that is constantly evolving with the threats. And that's what the F-Secure cloud helps you to do. Not to mention, F-Secure has millions of devices spread all over the world, which means they're constantly getting information, and the AI engine is constantly learning, so they can address threats in a matter of seconds, right? And threats are global. So you need a partner that has a reach which is global. So we were very careful in selecting the right partner to offer you best-in-class protection. Now, top features. So family protection, as we've seen, content filtering, making sure the kids have restricted access to the internet. They don't have access 24/7. It's extremely important. This is the top selling easy sell service today, but that's not all. Last few months, and we talked about prosumer, right? People are doing more and more work from home. They need protection from from viruses and botnets. You've got more and more devices. You need protection from IoT security. You need safe browsing. In the last few months, the number of phishing attacks have skyrocketed. People are stealing the identity, stealing credit card information. So browsing protection is extremely critical. So instead of some of the companies, what they're doing is they're sectioning this off as different services. We decided not to do that. We combine everything together in one package. So it is easier for you to sell, and it gives you a very compelling competitive advantage. So you're not just selling family protection, you're not just selling parental control, but you're selling complete family cyber protection, okay? This is now consumers. The third component of this whole service is a mobile app, and that's how your end users are going to interact with the service. And again, uh, device intelligence is critical. You can get all the devices, as soon as you fire up the app, it goes and it automatically recognizes all the different devices. And again, because it is cloud powered, as new devices come to the market, the cloud is constantly updating its database so it can recognize newer devices. Now, this is really critical when you're talking about these sensors, right? Like the bulb, something that to turn lights on and off, or to turn your drapes or electronic drapes or electronic locks. So these devices, they're constantly changing. So being able to recognize those automatically is a huge advantage. So that's one of them. You can easily turn on and off different device services on the different devices. Profile-based parental control. I create profiles very easily, set times when they're not allowed on the network. So you can set times, school nights, weeknights, weekends. And again, extremely easy. It takes you 2 seconds to configure the whole thing. Content filtering, very easy. All of these, you have tags, adult content, drugs, alcohol. So just depending on the age and what you want to allow your kids to have access to, you can easily turn these on and off. And again, you have all of these profiles here, right? Now, you don't need a profile for mom and dad. I mean, you can only have profile for kids, and then the rest of the people who don't have a profile have access to everything. Okay, so the other cool thing here is notifications. So this is not just parental monitoring. So let's say Bob here is not allowed to go on any illegal gambling sites, and Bob tries to go on poker.com. Two things will happen. Bob will be blocked, but more importantly, the mom or dad will get a notification immediately saying that Bob, with the icon, the avatar that you see over there, so it makes, if you have more than 1 or 2 kids, makes them you easily identify. So Bob went on poker.com. So now this does 2 things. As a parent, now you know what's happening, so you can have a conversation. And from a service provider perspective, more importantly, it reminds your end users, it reminds your subscribers of the value of this service constantly. So it is something that they know that they're getting valuable feedback from what they're paying, right? So it's not something that, it's out of sight is out of mind. It's not that they're constantly being reminded of the value this service is offering them. Okay. The next up, like I mentioned, we're not just whenever we do these services, we don't stop at just, okay, we made this product, here you go, you're on your own. We wanted to create an entire turnkey turnkey solution for you, starting from online activation, because that's how end users are used to these days with Amazon and all of these e-commerce sites. They are used to having this online, easy to use, zero touch kind of experiences. And we've tried to replicate that same experience for you. So it's we've created an entire system that you can easily adopt, and we help you do that, where it's a 3-step online activation process. So you send your customers through email marketing, you send them a link with a voucher embedded, they click on it, and within 5 minutes, they have the service activated. You have information about them, so you can start billing them, and everything happens without a single phone call. And it's extremely smooth, and you're generating revenue before you know, right? So that's the whole plan. Not to mention, we have training material for you. We'll give you these email templates that you can easily customize with your branding and stand out. We'll give you videos that you can brand. And if you go onto our website, you can see some of these videos today that once you sign up, you will have access to them so you can start rebranding and using them to educate. Again, we talked about how do you set the right expectations. All this material we give you will help you with internal and external communication so you can start setting that right expectations and delivering and exceeding them. Okay. And again, multimedia, multi-channel consumer communication is known to generate 82% higher sales than if you just try it one way. Now, finally, how do you monetize eHome Shield service? So we have, over the last, like I said, over the last 10 to 12 months, quite a few service providers have offered versions or variations of service like what we are offering. And based on what we see and hear, some of the things is that we wanted to, the way we've priced this service is in such a way that it gives you a whole lot of different options to monetize it. You can you can make it part of your existing managed Wi-Fi service. You can bundle it with some of the higher speed tiers of your high-speed internet service, and we have priced it low enough so you can easily do that and still either make money or again. We've seen that service providers today, they're offering a gateway security service anywhere from $5 to $6. In fact, a lot of service providers are just offering parental control with content filtering for $5 to $6 a month. This has 3 times the number of features, so you can imagine, but you can still, we've priced it so even if you offer it for $4 to $5, you'll still make money. So we have been very aggressive in pricing this. Of course, you can offer, you can have 2 tiers. You can do gateway security. We also have endpoint security that you can offer. Same from F-Secure. F-Secure started by making endpoint security, and they're world leaders. So we also offer you endpoint security package that you can bundle with. So you can have 2 different bundles: gateway security and then the full total package with gateway and endpoint security. So multiple options. And here's a graph this is an actual service provider graph where when they offered, when they added security, and they offered 2 options. One was fast broadband, the second was secure broadband. And the red graph shows how their sales took off, not just of security, but even broadband sales. The pre-solution launch, the trajectory was the blue one, and then post, it was the red one. So this is an actual graph from a tier 2 service provider in North America. And this is something that you can replicate. Okay. So the last topic I want to address today is CAF Performance Testing. And here's a portfolio of Zyxel's Wi-Fi 6 products. And all our Wi-Fi 6 products are capable of doing TR-143-based gigabit CAF testing. We've done a separate webinar with one of our partners that talks about the details of CAF testing, and we intend to do another one early next year. This is important, and it's an ongoing thing. And so while all our CPEs have optimized TR-143 clients built in, and we do this by offering multiple parallel connections, multi-threading to boost the performance. But our Wi-Fi 6 devices, gateways in particular, can offer even gigabit capable CAF performance testing. And then we've added several other parameters, TR69, TR143 parameters that will help your ACS, any standard-based ACS vendors in creating the right kind of software to help you with your CAF performance testing. The last thing is we take this very seriously for our customers, and we've made CAF performance as a standard feature in all our product firmwares. So this is also part of our QA. So every firmware that goes out is tested extensively for CAF performance and features. So and we are actively working with vendors, with TR69 ACS vendors to make sure that our solution is field tested with theirs, so that you have a turnkey solution, you have, and your deployment or your experience to enable this is seamless. Okay. Here's a quick kind of overview of all our different models and the tiers of CAF-based tiers that they support. So you can see even the older products, VMG 4325. This has been for a couple years now, but it hasn't optimized. We do have some of these devices in the field, and we have optimized the firmware for TR143 based CAF testing. Now, but you have to make sure that you have the right firmware, okay? So please kind of reach out to us if you have any of these products deployed, and if you're in the middle of evaluating or testing, make sure that you have the right firmware and the right products, okay? So that was the last slide. I would like to do one last poll question for you guys. Again, CAF performance testing, are you field testing a solution at the moment? Have you evaluated a solution, or are you in the process of evaluating a solution, or do you not have to do? Rochelle, maybe this is the last question.
That's the last poll.
I think, yeah, this is the last. We need the next one, please.
This is the last poll.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. We're having some technical difficulty, but okay. Let me. With that, happy holidays, and we wish you a very happy new year.
Hey, Jake, we have.
So back to you, Rochelle.
Yeah, we have one question. We have a question here. I heard Zyxel will start supporting OpenSync in the Wi-Fi 6 gateways.
Richard, we are in the middle of working on that. So as soon as we have an announcement, we'll definitely let you know. I don't have information on that right now to share.
Okay. So are we gonna do the raffle?
I apologize. Right now? Yes, please. Let's do the raffle. Thanks.
Okay, great. So we're gonna announce 2 winners. Drum roll. Okay, the winners are Richard Logan and Paul Fileo. Congratulations, guys. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. And no, this is, thank you, everyone, for your time today. And we wish you all the very best. And please do let us know if you have any questions. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Have a great rest of the year.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next year.